that this win can get the engine going for them, because they need it with just 2 games left to play.
Speaking of getting the engine going, we are now heading into our penultimate game of the day. We are headed back to Erangel, of course, and this plane path, as we were kind of spying on the players' screens, is kind of, it's a doozy, and I'm not talking about the player.
Yeah, it's not exactly friendly. We'll see if somehow Gen.G gets to Georgopol. But I don't think they're going to do that.
I mean, as long as they found an emergency airdrop in the plane.
In their plane, yeah, exactly. Let's look at this beast of a plane path. When Pochinki is a stretch, you know that it is hard to play on. And this one could not start any further south. And we haven't really been... Have we been military at all yet?
No, we've actually not. We've had a circle kind of kiss the island a little bit, but it went all the way north. We actually haven't seen a military circle. I guess we used
all the military circles in the qualifiers.
Yeah, both in NA and MEA, as well as actually Asian APAC.
Yeah, they just ran out of them.
Yeah, they were very prevalent, but the circles so far in this event have actually been very entertaining. Obviously, hard shifts abound pretty much everywhere, and this one is going to cause a lot of issues, I think, for some of these teams, especially if we see like a northern post.
Yep, exactly. I mean, we'll see how ruthless this first circle is going to be. We are just about 20 seconds away from it being shown. Gen.G dropping down inside military base proper alongside 4 AM. Yeah, we'll see if this is a fight that's going to happen, or if it's not going to be the case. We're seeing teams on our right side over towards the map there, flying northbound, trying to stretch and get up north. Of course, Danoa were up in Yasnaya with 4M in the previous game, and this one is actually going to go up there.
Oh, and this is actually going to be very difficult. These rotations are going to be problematic for multiple teams, especially the ones on the far south. I'm even looking at Question Mark, although they could wrap. Realistically, I'm also looking at Falcons. I mean,
more teams than Millie. I mean, right now, if you find an emergency pickup, you're in heaven. You're just insta-sending it all the way to Stalber. You start looting and coming from the north, because you know that it's an open buffet up there. There's literally kind of like, it's simply impossible for anyone to have made it all the way up there yet. So if you have a chance to, just full speed send it towards the north, because you're going to be in all kinds of safe space.
And I think that's what Danoa is doing as well. They're trying to rotate far to the north, maybe to get into Yasid, get some loot from there. But my eyes are kind of drawn there to Falcons, because they had actually dropped in, as we take a look at the nice crowd here in our arena, they dropped in on Millie, and I think they were planning on going there, but they saw 2 other teams. So I imagine they're actually looking for an emergency airdrop. Not that that's necessarily strategy, but I'm sure they would love to find one.
We'll see if they can get that, and we'll see if Global Army can upgrade his Bison to something a little more meta, I'll call it, as Gen.G don't find themselves an airdrop, but will instead drive northward. They do have DD team on the other side. They aren't exactly set up for a bridge camp proper, so it shouldn't be any danger in Gen.G wrapping on over here. But Gen.G, again, I mean, a team that I'm not gonna lie, I didn't have the biggest expectations for. They're very much a hit or miss team.
Yeah.
And they kind of have been here as well, even though they're currently set on the cusp at 16 and looking to, unless if they really zero out the next 2 games, looking to qualify. It's not been in the fashion that I think it was for a global partner team as well. It's not been in the fashion that I think people wanted them to go by.
Especially when we look at the past rosters of Gen.G and their past accomplishments as well. Yeah, Gen.G obviously getting there, but in a very kind of scrappy and not the most ideal way. But I mean, as you said, currently in 16th, and there's still always the opportunity, as we saw in game 1, for them to pop off. Or I should say their game 1.
Yeah. So Gen.G leaves military early, so does 4 AM. No one wants to stick around in a circle like this. I don't fault them for going down here, because I think there's a pretty good chance it would have swung this way. But Gen.G Taemin with a dual barrel in hand, no vest or helmets, no meds, no heals. We said there was a chance they can go to Georgopol. You said, I mean, if they get themselves something to fly with, nah, they'll take it with the wheels, just drive all the way up there.
I think might even run out of gas by the time
they should.
All the way from military base, but 4 angry men as well. They're skirting the line here on the south side towards Milta Power, and they actually should get a decent amount of loot here. If they want to stop by, they should know. Actually, they shouldn't know, because Sonics landed here and the plane was right over this, so they are going to be a little bit more cautious in that rotation, actually.
I'd have to imagine E-Arena, they came into what they thought was a pretty safe push. 4v1, what could possibly go wrong? And just like that, they're in trouble. Shrimsy testing the suspension of the, well, front lights, I suppose, of the car as he goes straight into a tree. I feel like we've seen that a couple of times today. And you know what? I've asked for this for a couple of years now, and maybe PUBG will hear me on this one. But this is something where sometimes we give the players a hard time because they hit trees and whatnot. I wish there was an indicator somewhere, maybe right next to the minimap, where you could see whether the player was in the inventory or map, or just no indicator if they were just playing, you know, like actually looking at the screen. But an indicator showing if they had the map open, because sometimes you'll go, oh, this guy, you know, this guy didn't see that guy running across the open, or this guy didn't see that tree. But if you had a little map right next to the phase 1 counter or something like that, you go like, well, I mean, he was looking at his map.
As someone who's done that in competitive and may or may not have hit one of his teammates with a vehicle, you know, yeah, that indicator would be nice.
I'm just saying. I mean, usually I'm the one that gives players a hard time. Here I'm actually trying to defend them.
Sure.
To help them out a bit. and we'll see. Maybe someday that's going to be a thing. But of course, not going to be a priority by no means.
And as we look at the map here, Toby, we see a lot of teams actually setting up. I like this split from Sonics. It is a little precarious as the. Either one of the duos won't necessarily be able to cover the other one so much, but this early in the circle, they actually have a nice setup for rotation camp.
That, and also I think it's a kind of half 2-2 split, half still sort of looting. Yes. I wouldn't expect to see HWin and Strimzy stick around in Lipovka proper for much longer. They're probably going to set up on the hill, just on the western side of the city. Yeah, exactly. So maybe still just getting that extra first aid, finding a scope, some proper attachments for the rotation to come.
And overall, I mean, we did see Sonics kind of go out a little early after taking out 4AM, but they've had some nice adjustments here coming into this coming into day number 2.
Now, GamePT are winners of the first game of the day. They're taking their time in this bridge crossing, and it makes sense. There were 4 teams down here. They didn't hear or see any of the other teams leaving, so they're sitting around. But the issue is they're sitting around for so long that Falcons, who is the team furthest away, might actually run into them.
Yeah, which they're starting their rotation now.
Exactly.
I'm curious if they're actually setting up for the camp, or as you said, maybe they're just kind of taking their time. Well, we'll see what's about to happen here. It does look like Falcons did not find that emergency pickup, which I'm sure they would have liked.
They are by far the team with the latest approach on this one. As I say, that question mark are currently wrapping towards South George from the very west coast, so they're definitely going to get in there later. But again, it's question mark. It's Gen G as well. Neither of these two teams out there on a hurry. Like, if they can tank blue until phase 3, they'll eat 2 first dates and be very satisfied with that.
Especially now with the jammer pack, right?
Even more so.
That we had talked about yesterday, I believe it was. Yeah, they are, especially first blue. I mean, you can sit for quite a while with the jammer pack before you even really need to utilize your boost. And I'm sure they, you know, taking their time to loot, they've found quite a few of those as well. So yeah, they're just going to be cruising right now. And Gen G also starting to get that rotation going here just a moment after looting the front 6 pryos.
We debated whether or not now with jammer packs, denying blue zone damage was going to be a priority over level 3 backpacks. I feel like E-Arena would have really loved some jammer packs in that previous game.
Yeah, that would have... I mean, that probably would have saved them. I really think so. Even with the double blue zone grenade, if they all had jammer packs, or even 2 of them, they might have been able to survive that. But again, Pixel, you absolute legend. We will never forget that.
Nope, not going to happen. That one's going to go down in memory lane as one of the more interesting plays.
Put a graffiti in there like they do for some other games.
Just a square. It's a pixel, you know? Just a square. Yeah. Just put a random square on the wall somewhere. And we'll forever... Wow, that
immortalized.
Immortalized, exactly. 4AM, well, they started off a military, didn't like it there. They came around Milta Power, and now they've made their way all the way up towards Lipovka. You talked about the Sonic split just before. They are about to hit that 2-2.
Especially if they scout that out, they'll potentially realize that that is a split. You do see Shrimzy on the east there just kind of anchoring pretty far out, looking for any vehicles that would be coming up that road and getting that information early. As we now look at the boys from Falcons here, potentially just looking for a boat or just taking the ferry itself.
Wait for ferry. No reason to stress this one. Just sit tight, wait around. You know that at this point you have to be... I mean, they don't know that technically Gen G is trying to wrap the entire server because they started in military.
Right.
Wait, okay. So let's just go over this for a second. Gen G started in military, went to South George, and they're driving to Stolper.
They're just going for the world tour.
They're actually going.
They actually want the stats.
I just want
for the most traveled team.
I just want these circles to continue to hard shift south now, and Gen G somehow to win it. That way, they would have gone military to South George to Stolper to Milta Power.
I think that would be the actual.
That would be a world record.
Yeah,
Imagine.
Meanwhile, GamePT just still camping that bridge.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
not a fan of that.
They haven't seen them leave yet, so might as well stick around. And now, with the ferry leaving, they might just get themselves a couple of kills off of it.
Maybe, we'll see. But even from that angle, the Falcons should be able to get on the other side of the ferry and just be fine. So I imagine the reason they're also taking that ferry is so that they can save their vehicles.
I mean, GamePT are sat pretty decently on the overall lead board currently. They're sat... I mean, they're just on the cusp, 42 points. They need maybe 15 points in 2 games, doable. And why not try and see if you can get them early on here now? As we go away from the quiet side of the game, we head into the action with Friendly Fire getting pulled up by DDT. Pixel is here waiting. We talked about him all the time here in the beginning of this one. They've already found one knock, now with the second, as Spaceman falls.
I have to say, oh, nice little knock there coming out from Page. It has been a long time since I've seen a circle kind of post here all the way to the northeast under Kameshki. It's actually, I don't even remember the last time I've seen the circle.
They are very few and far between these days, but I do like this area of the map. So
I do as well.
The only issue is that everyone except for Gen.G is coming in from the south. So I guess when you rotate 10 kilometers before phase 2, you get rewarded with a ship going your way.
DD team has just been kind of dismantled here by Friendly Fire, and this is a team that, you know, fighting Friendly Fire early is very detrimental. They are, again, they thrive in chaos. They're a very scrappy team, especially now with this new roster. Oh, beautiful nade from Pixel.
Loves it off the vehicle, and that's a double for Friendly Fire, for Pixel, I should say, and a full-on wipe for the team. Face wrapping in behind, wrapping a little slow off of the Lumberyard Hill proper. We'll see 4EM on their rotation unfold. You see Xiaopian has taken a bit of damage, but I'd be surprised if they're going to stick around here and take a proper fight in this position.
On FaZe, for all of their kind of struggles, they still managed to find themselves, you know, with 55 points in 10th place. So they're still definitely making it work as we go back to this replay. Pixel turning on a dime. Beautiful stuff. Again, Friendly Fire doing a wonderful job to hold Museum.
Yeah, there's time to turn things around. Still got 2 games to play. Some solid performances and plenty of kills to boot. Even if you're set down to 0, you can get things going. Exactly. We can count absolutely 0 players out just yet. DD team will have a very hard time at 33. But again, if we're talking about a cusp of somewhat, like just a little above 50, that's a 10-kill win and they got the 20 needed. So everyone can still strike back and make winners bracket.
We've also seen a lot of the teams, even the stronger ones, just kind of have those bad games, right?
Yeah,
so it's very much possible as I mean, looking at one of those strong, I mean, Cerberus is just getting a beautiful position here just underneath this kind of plateau, that little coast there. There's a wonderful ridge to play, and they've actually taken complete control of that. I love playing there.
Very, very good area indeed as FaZe.
Yep.
Continues to creep further forward, and here's a perfect showcase of what you were just mentioning. They're getting to sit in this exact position and just look towards the compound. They're essentially using this compound as bait. Oh, there's no caster. Let's just go and... Oh, my lord. They actually wrapped East Bridge to...
I'm not mad.
GamePT, they have one thing in mind for this game, and that is be as big of a nuisance to Falcons as you possibly can. I don't know what caused this vendetta.
Game, I feel like.
No, I mean, that's what I mean. I don't know what caused the vendetta between these 2 teams, but this is personal at this point. And you can see Falcons like, guys, do we take the boat back to Novo again? What's the play here?
I don't, I mean, maybe they see the opportunity to get
They're going to leave again? What are we watching? What is this?
I don't know what to say. I mean, the problem here, Silzen only has 3 first aids. I'm not sure how many boosts they have left.
I mean, it is only phase 2 damage, turning phase 3 in a moment, but I mean, there was a boat in Novo, but as you're saying, it's gonna start taking, and it's gonna be a good while until they get to the circle.
But also, if you're GamePT, sure, you want to go for the points, but why are you risking a potential opportunity to get into the circle to actually get, you know, a decent placement or even win the game? I mean,
there is a boat in the water right there. Now, if they look to the right instead of the left, there you go. He sees it. Jump in the water, guys. We need the boat. We need to cross faster. The issue is jump out and take that boat, and you have no cars.
You have no cars, so they're going to have to... Oh, man. GamePT is really just ruining this for the Falcons for whatever reason. But as we move back now to Friendly Fire, trying to crash into a building right in front of the Sonics. Twin is going to find a knock. Sharp is going to get flushed, actually, by CC.
Pushing this? they might just be. I mean, Sonic set at 60 points. They're in so far. That's not the same thing can be said for Friendly Fire. They want to take them out. They're leaving the comfort of their compound to run over and nade inside their building. And again, we saw Pixel do it just before. It only takes a couple of nades and maybe a blue zone nade to get him down. In the meantime, now Therodon 5 and FaZe taking a fight up on the hillside as Thanadot goes down.
Actually, one of my other favorite areas to play in this circle, this little edge here, you can utilize pretty much the entire coast. You have some nice dips there as well, and FaZe will be the benefactors as they do take out Thanadol from Therodon 5, and nice little recovery as well. FaZe should be able to work with quite a lot of room here as long as they just wrap that coast.
Definitely. I feel like we should have a camera in the bottom, like a pip in the corner, just
as
a Falcons camera. We are seeing at least Daku start rotating towards the circle. It's Game PT that I'm talking of. Here he is. Hits a rock because you're not in a hurry anyway, so you might as well just slow down for a moment. As the rest of Game PT, I would imagine, are making their way. I mean, they all have vehicle logos, so I imagine they're all driving towards the circle. Thing is, Daytrade have kind of been bouncing around this circle for a while, looking for an entry, and they still haven't made that decision, so they might just be running into each other too.
Well, this is also what happens when you try to camp a team for so long. They're coming so late in the circle. There is no entry point to the circle anymore. You are going to have to contest another team, especially when you're coming in and maybe losing meds. Obviously, their armor should be fine, but yeah, they're at a disadvantage now, and this is about to close, and they're about to take even more damage. So I really am not a fan of that play from GP.
Well, Silson, the first one to fall. He's going to go down. They just cannot make their way on in. And they're at 52. I mean, the weird thing is Game PT are currently behind Falcons. So whether it's because they want to pull them down with them, you can see them crawl in here. There's just nothing they can do to make their circle. In the same time now, 17 Gaming, they see this Daytrade rotation come through. And oh my god, from the car, finds Xiaobei.
Yeah, and as I'm just looking at the kill feeds, Falcons dying one by one as we now lose multiple members here of 17 Gaming. As you said, Xiaobei going down.
That's a triple ace!
Gustavo, you're very happy about that, I imagine.
Well, I mean, he did kill my captain, but outside of that, it's perfectly fine. So, FaZe, one nade is needed. One nade is needed to get down one, as FaZe gets to stay alive. There is a knock player, but as you can see, Rexy gets the rest on up, and now Circle shifts towards the west. Everything that you can possibly play inside this circle is already taken. And if I'm Salvin right now, you better crew up. And that, my friends, is Falcon dying. Congratulations, Blue Zone. You just did 400 damage.
You got Blue Zone on your fantasy, or?
I should have. They will have a lot of damage this game.
As FaZe is now starting to make their way up this hill. Again, I said they were going to be able to skirt that coast, but because of this shift, they're actually going to start making their way in. And I will say, on the very eastern edge of this circle, it's just a downward slope. There is not much to play for FaZe.
Not much at all, and especially up on the northern side, this bowl that Daytrade currently finds himself in, more and more teams will start looking this direction. Once Gen G realizes that there's no one set north of them any longer, they will start peeking on over. And then it's going to become a question of what can 17 do to potentially, I mean, to kind of help out Daytrade in being an overhead protector. We saw the fight before between Therodon 5 and FaZe Clan, and it's going to continue here with Pathopog being taken down.
Look at this crash now. It's going to be Danawa taking the fight here to Sarvam as they do get Sheila down, and CC now trying to desperately throw some nades. There's a nade on that stairs, though. They have to be careful. Baron Peak, the last one alive for Sarvam.
Yep, one more up. Trying to see what much he can do as Anonix falls down. That's about Sarvin hit from down on the southern side, but Sarvin will fall. We saw the circle pop. We saw them still sat together in their 2-2 split. Yes, they rotated. Yes, they grouped up, but they were too slow to respond to the circle shift.
This is also another misplay from GP. They should have known 2 members knocked of Danawa. That would be an opportunity for them to go in, but they're actually just going to kind of hold in here on the south side, which, I mean, I guess is fine for now, but that would have been one more team they could have got rid of and more kill points.
Definitely an opportunity for a proactive team to go out and get some extra points. But Game PT, I mean, I guess contrary to what we saw in the beginning of this game, haven't really been hunting kills outside of blocking both bridges and ferries.
And now we see Gen G embroiled in a fight here. What an angle from Haisaki as he finds Taemin. And again, this always happens. Gen G is just, there's always 1 or 2 members just completely out of reach for the rest of the team.
Never ready for the fight to come when they continue to try and maintain their splits the way that they do. And that's what I was worried about for this roster coming into the tournament. Yes, they like to play edge, but so does some of these other teams that are that much more dangerous up close than Gen G. Hemat's is going to get eyes over the ridge line in just a moment. You have to imagine that EJ's days are counted.
Now Himas is going to find it on to EJ. The spray is good. And Peel is just repositioned, but he's left.
Too late.
He's just left EG there as well. I feel like there's got to be some communication issues here on Gen G.
Yeah, question mark wrapping over the other side. Every single angle they had for cover just before is now a dead angle for them. Himas gets the prone on down, gets the heal on through. In a moment, he's going to have to commit to the heals in just a short time. Good thing for Himas. As you can see, right now the Jammer pack is taking the damage for him, so he's going to be all right as PO falls as well.
And now looking at this circle shift, it's going to be 17 kind of cleaning up the rest of FaZe as Hisaki is going to go down. But yeah, the E-Arena actually has a beautiful shift now in a nice position on this hillside just to the east. Meanwhile, question mark still trying to fight Bestalok down with 3 kills, and Full First trying to prone and save himself with smokes on this road.
Question mark comes off of a win and a second place, and now a good game going here. The issue is they could not find all the players in Cerberus, and Himas is starting to stab them from behind. That nade is going to be close to a Deucey, but not close enough to find him. And now Daytrade, it's a full-on Apex sandwich as Dante and Deucey is trying to stay alive.
And not the sandwich you want to be the center of, as you said, question mark getting it wiped out with the help of both Cerberus and Daytrade, as now both teams are going to have to potentially contest with, because this isn't even inside the circle, Toby.
Well, the team right now with the best position, E-Arena. One of few compounds still left in play, but the entire effectively east side of the road under their control. And Game BT, well, I mean, it's been a weird start to the match for them, but here they come, 3 guys in a car with 2 tires, driving approximately 1 kilometer an hour. Hella, first one to fall. Daku, you can only imagine, is going to fall in a moment's time. Blue zone, and dead.
Shocking. As GP goes down, Sonic's gonna pick up some of those kills, and Friendly Fire has actually survived that push that we saw early. We didn't get to see how it concluded, but 3 members alive now for each one of the team Sonics, as well as Friendly Fire.
Yep, they filled back again. Here comes the mortars shields into the compound. What better place to fire mortars than into a compound with 2 teams fighting? Anonix around the corner, he goes. Help comes through from Salute. Suchu goes down. Xiaowu now the solo player left alive. 4-17 as Danawa continue their pursuit. 42 points for Danawa. It's not been anywhere near the Danawa form we've seen in the past, but 2 good games here to finish off the day would kick them up into winner's bracket.
That was a beautiful little display of movement there from Anonix there. Nice little crouch, gets around the corner, a little mini peek there, a fake peek if you will, and that was, yeah, very clean, and coming up 7 kills. Danawa finally starting to come alive, Toby.
Look at that towards the northwest, 3 solos set. I don't know, Belmoth still has players on his team in Daytrade up towards the north, but currently sat alone, but not for much longer, as the rest of Daytrade does come down to Fortify. They were the team to grab in from that western side. We saw them very late on rotation, but they have stood their ground, and now they can slowly creep further forward towards the arena.
If they can, I mean, even take a little bit more position on the east and get around where we see one of the members of E-Arena, KM99, they would actually have so much control over the north side of the circle as well.
Sure would. Nades being thrown, blue zone nades, as well as Pixel is sat with the M249 out the back of the building. Shrimsy instantly double headshot connected onto others. He goes down. Pixel has to make a run for it. Does he have another heroic play in him? There is the blue zone nade locked on forward. One more flash being thrown to try and at least buy themselves a little bit more time, but Page is down. So is Pixel, and that is going to be Friendly Fire out in 7th.
8 kills on the side of Sonics, but now they're getting assaulted from Zizzy here at distance. Ooh. No knock, fortunately, and that shift is very open.
That is absolutely brutal. If you're E-Arena, you're like, of all the places in the world, we had half the circle under control. And just like that, it is taken away from them. On the flip side of that, Daytrade very, very pleased with this circle shift.
Xiaowu holding up this Prio building. Again, these are notoriously difficult to push up simply because of that one staircase. A blue nade here would be pretty beneficial, but I don't think anyone on the side of Danawa has it, so they're going to have to deal with that very lousy neighbor that you hate upstairs that just stumps his feet.
Exactly.
Wakes you up.
Exactly. Rossiter falls as 3rd on 5 out, but once again, top 6 for 3rd on. It's not been flashy, but they're able to accumulate some of these much-needed points.
Really impressed with that team, honestly, for the mental fortitude to come back after kind of a lackluster day one. Their adjustments have been nothing short of wonderful.
Yeah. Xiaowu just burning through all the utility that he can to buy himself as much time as possible. Say that, please just somebody start fighting this team downstairs. Can you help me out a bit? I'm a solo guy upstairs, but I think Danawa is realizing right now as well. They need to make an aggressive play, and they do. Flash thrown up, Xiaowu with his head in a wall, and Danawa finally starting to get things going.
And I think there is a little bit for, actually Sonics could potentially play a little bit under the compound of Danawa, but the problem is they do have an anchor there. Anonix so smart to cut that angle off.
Trying to isolate.
Can't go down, though.
Exactly. Trying to isolate with the SKS in hand, and good for him that this vehicle had already taken a ton of damage. He's going to see 3 make their way on forward. Mime spotted as well, but few bullets missed. But at least the info comes across. The entire team is set down that ridge line.
And for the time being, at least, Sonics have actually pulled up in front of E-Arena, which actually does worry me a little bit.
We have Salute on the roof with an Orm as well. I mean, this could not be a better place for Danawa to get things going. No bullets fired yet. Curious to see if
there's
maybe
one.
There he goes. 61 damage right in the chest. And there he goes, second time around. Flash taken down.
And where, okay, I was going to say, are they actually just going to send it? No, there's going to be a knock coming out in the way of Day Trade. Norin's going to find Mighty is, they're pretty much in the same boat. Yeah, they're in the same boat as Sonics, but the benefit to Sonics is they're actually a little bit more on a slope, so Day Trade actually doesn't have an angle. It's just going to be Inonix and Danawa.
2 Castle Rock and deployable shields, and still they're getting shot from somewhere. That goes to show that it really is a difficult area to play around. Norins, oh my god, finds one more. As you can see here, Belmont, he has 0 spare bullets, and both of them are 7.62. So if we get to an up-close fight, he might not be in it for very long. Lyrics goes down as Day Trade finds one more. Once again, we're starting to see the hope from Day Trade increase.
I love, again, the proactivity here from Danawa. They're trying to push up. They want to get within nade range. Maybe Inonix can do something, but he's going to think twice of it as he does eat a headshot. Level 3 vest and helmet pretty much broken at this point. As now E-Arena just knows they have to make some sort of play. Mighty and Zizzy, the last 2, and they're going to survive for the time being.
Oh, no.
But this is not a good situation, as there's pretty much no tires left on that RV.
And it's just a little extra meter of high ground that they have all for being able to play that roof of the compound across the street. I mean, Danawa has full control and everything happening. Everyone who's got Danawa on their fantasy teams for the last couple of days and saying, where are you? When are you going to show up? Well, here they are. So far, they're all alive. Should the rest come through onto Loki, which it seems like it will, they're looking good, and Salute is making the Orm ring.
And this is difficult for Sonics. I mean, how do you move up, especially with Salute finding the knock onto Belmoth in a moving UAZ. Beautiful shot.
What a shot right through the chest, and you can be damn sure that none of the Day Trade players has vests left.
No,
like they've
been fighting for decades at this point.
Exactly, they're all down to no helmet, no vest, probably no utility either. And there comes one more. Not gonna find it the first time around. They know exactly where they have Norins, and you feel like you can just give this one to Salute. Bro, just find him.
Yeah, they would really like to get Huynh up, but I just don't think that's going to be possible. I mean, maybe with some smokes. I don't even know how much utility they have left, and Salute is just waiting for Norins to potentially pop his head up one more time as it's Zizzy, the last member of E-Arena, alive there just on the east and just above where Sonics is currently sitting.
11 bullets still left to work with for Salute. We'll see how much more he can find with the Orm in hand as Inonix now starts creeping further towards the southern side. They know that Sonics have to make a move. They know they have to get inside this circle, and Inonix is being smart and moving up early to try and deny them from that.
Oh, I thought for sure that was going to hit. I think he might have hit just the edge of that little windowsill, but Danawa trying to close this out. They have absolute control over this, especially when there's only 1 member left of Day Trade and 2 of Sonics.
This is Danawa playing in control. This is the Danawa that we've come to love. The Danawa that we didn't know what to see from the beginning of the uprise, but then they just kept impressing game after game after game. And here they are again. It took them a long time to get here, but finally, when the stars aligned just a little bit, they fended off against the push from south, and they took out Game PT as they tried to make their way in on the southwestern side. And now here they are. Loki able to find one more as we reach 14 kills. This is Danawa in top form.
And all of a sudden now Danawa, the team that we were wondering when they show up, have not only showed up, they are punching their ticket potentially with 1 game left. 55 points. Norins will go down. Salute will find the nade. And there they are. Welcome to the stage, boys.
Smiles on their faces, but the race ain't done yet. Welcome back, Danawa. Welcome back, top team of Korea. We have been waiting for you, and finally, here you are with 1 more match left to play in the PGS2 group stages.
Yeah, these are the decisions we were waiting for them to make. Obviously, they were taking a lot of early fights yesterday, and a lot of those didn't go their way. So the fact that they're now kind of slowing it down, the rotations were perfect. Inonix reaching that initial grandma on that compound was very well done with the support of Salute. So Danawa doing amazing work in that game.
This is going to be worrying for many of the other teams too, because we've talked about teams that can they potentially get something going off of a win. If there's anything that we know about Danawa, that is give them just the tiniest bite and they will take it